What's the difference between a karmic, soulmate, and twin flame relationship? Hello, twin flame community. Hi from me, Julie Rennie. And in this video, I'll share ideas with you on how to pick the differences. Mostly on the twin flame journey, models are not to be used too much. The twin flame journey is about expansiveness and elevation of consciousness, so you don't really want to put anything in a box. However, the best way to describe these three relationships for me was through my own experiences. And when I understood, looking back, on what these relationships had as characteristics, it actually helped me to be more certain about my twin flame journey. And if you're on a twin flame journey, you've probably had doubts along the way. So let's begin. I would have to say my first serious relationship, well, I now know it was a karmic relationship, but I had certain characteristics. When I met this person, they told me a sad story about their life, and I felt my heart open. I felt compassion towards this person. When I look back now, I think I thought that was love, but it was really more of a heart opening and compassion towards this person. Nevertheless, we dived into a relationship. We actually didn't have much in common. So even though we got magnetized together, we kind of lived separate lives. And this kind of manifested in a way that there wasn't a deeper connection. And yet, I still felt bound to this person. One of the things I experienced over many years was trying to escape this situation. There were many breakups, and then we would come back together. The karmic did not want to let go. I don't know why they thought this was a good relationship. We didn't really talk much and no common interests. Then it got to a point where there was a lot of triggering and there were threads and threats of violence. And I had experienced a violent childhood, so obviously that was very triggering for me. And I really felt I just couldn't go on. Nevertheless, I stayed. And sometimes when these things are triggered with a low understanding of life, you just accept them, shove them down, put a lid on them, but they don't go away. This person will keep triggering what wants to be released and healed. And for me, it was a history of family violence. Finally, I found the courage to leave, and leave meant leaving. It actually meant moving to another state. It meant having no contact. I look back on it now and I think in my mind, why did I marry this person? And the reason is that the triggering needed to happen so that I could evolve into higher states of love. So let me just say, all relationships are valuable, particularly the ones that trigger you. They're triggering something you inherited for healing and release. Therefore, karmic relationships can be very valuable. And they sometimes look like a twin flame relationship because of the breakups and the get back togethers. And that's what happens a bit in karmic relationships. Karmic relationships can often have a lot of infidelity because although there's a connection, something's missing. And either party or both can actually have affairs. And that can be triggering in itself. As I was leaving my karmic relationship, my twin flame dropped into my life. Now, there is this notion that the twin flame is one soul split into two, coming in two different bodies or people. And this is what the magnetism is all about, this drawing together that's very sudden. It elevates your consciousness immediately and you feel flooded with this higher love, like it topples you because you're like, what is this? I've never experienced anything like this ever before. I felt like I was home. I felt like this is it. Was it like that for you? However, there were still all these triggers within both of us. And this meant that we were together only for a short period of time, which is very characteristic for twin flames. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, if you're lucky, 3 months. They come together in a very brief, intense time frame, and that is to trigger deeper things for healing. Now, this was quite tough when this separation took place. Shortly after, and I mean shortly, like a few weeks, I met a soulmate. What a comfortable experience. Lots in common, and a warmth and a friendship that develops very quickly. And so soulmate relationships can come into our life to create a bit of balance and harmony. And soulmates often do great things together. They might start a family together, build a business together. They could be entertainment duos. And it basically feels like a mate for your soul. There's a lot of compatibility, not so much triggering. And what can happen here is that even though you really love your soulmate partner and you do great things together, you still know something's missing. And they possibly don't do all the triggering to give you the healing. And even if you were triggered, they'd be right by your side, comforting you and keeping you safe. But in actual fact, being uncomfortable and getting out of your comfort zone is helpful to expand your consciousness. And expanding your consciousness basically is letting go of a lot of things. So you actually do want these triggered. So often, even after a long period of time together, soulmates can actually just drift apart. And you begin to feel like this person's more of a family member rather than a relationship. And that's why often the soulmates drift apart and finally separate. Dotted amongst these relationships I have had, my twin flame just dives in and out. It's almost like twin flames are journeying up to a mountain peak and they start in opposite directions. So there's two paths. They're taking one path and you're taking the other. And every now and then, your paths will cross and you get a chance to evolve. And that might mean opening you up to higher realms of consciousness, which can be quite toppling. And then you part and both of you are just going higher and higher up the mountain. But the peak of the mountain is getting narrower and narrower. And this is why we call it a twin flame journey. You're both journeying through the dimensions of life. There is only one half to your soul, and that is the twin flame. The twin flame connection has a lot of chemistry. It also has a lot of similarities. However, there can be opposites too. One could have a quiet, peaceful personality, the other one very explosive. One could be a middle distance runner, the other one a sprinter. Yes, but still both runners, if that makes sense. If you think of the soul splitting or dividing, or perhaps a better term is polarizing, they're opposites. They're in opposite directions. And the magnetism between them is so strong that when they get near each other, they just can't help joining. It's quite amazing. And when they join, all their systems have to come together. The mental body, the egos, literally everything has to come together. And of course, we all know the physical side of it is really dynamic as well. But the emotional bodies come together and deep emotions can be flushed out, brought into our awareness for healing. Of course, this can be overwhelming. And this is why often the twins will part or run. And that's to create a deep dive within your own being and find the inner connection with unconditional love from the higher realms. This really is a very deeply spiritual connection. If you're in a twin flame connection, you will know it is deep, it is wide, it is big, it is expansive. And sometimes it can take a while to adjust to all those higher energies as they filter through. If you have met your twin flame, you are being called home to unconditional love. Now, while you think this is a person, I want you to imagine that love is the energy of everything. And if you start connecting to that energy of love, you will actually create a deeper connection with your twin flame. Also, twin flames are united in the fifth dimension. And as we talk at the moment about Earth transforming into a new energy, becoming more of a fifth dimensional space, becoming more loving, then it makes sense to me that more twin flames will meet and unite and do this dance, this cleansing process of letting go of all the unloving frequencies. I know a lot of you think this journey is hard. Love is not hard. All the unloving energies we carry, that's what hurts. You might be carrying the energy of abandonment, rejection, shame, guilt, helplessness, belittlement. Whatever happened to you as a child would have created an energy. And it's those energies that get triggered when you meet your twin flame. The journey is about letting go of all of those and bringing that lower frequency energy into love. I call it harmonizing. You're harmonizing lower energies with this beautiful higher energy. And that's the journey. I know you so deeply want your twin flame back. I do. As you move into this awakening or ascension journey, I assure you it gets easier. And every little piece that you transform elevates your consciousness further and further and deepens that connection with your twin flame. So in summary, the karmic relationship has its purpose. It will do a lot of surface level healing because it's triggering. I'm not sure they're really meant to go for a long period of time. If you are willing to do the cleaning up of your triggers, they will fall away quite quickly, although they can be a bit difficult to untangle from. The soulmate relationship is comfortable and enjoyable. Even when soulmates separate, they often have a lot of compatibility. They're still friends, so they still can remain in each other's life. The twin flame relationship, I know you think it's the best romance you've ever experienced, and it probably was, but this is a calling to come home to unconditional love. If you can make this switch from I just want my twin flame back and they should be with me, it's so right, and move your focus back on yourself and going deeply within yourself and cleaning up any unloving patterns that you inherited, by the way, because you arrive here as pure love and then you learn everything from the world around you. If you start questioning and challenging those perspectives that hurt you and take responsibility for them, I assure you, you can harmonize them with love, which takes away the ache for your twin flame. And this is about dropping blame and judgment, being angry with your twin flame. Anything that would drop your frequency out of unconditional love is actually blocking you being with your twin flame in the long term. So it's very important to start harmonizing with unconditional love. If you'd like to know more about how I can help you, have a look in the description below, visit my website, and know that I am on this journey. I have been on this journey for a long time. I have evolved with this harmonizing process, which is very simple to do and very empowering, by the way, because it puts everything back to you, that you're responsible for what you're feeling and thinking. Some fabulous tools to work with, and living in the harmonized state of love does take away the ache for your twin flame. And it is very purposeful to anchor unconditional love on the planet for all the people around you. Trust me, your life will change. It'll become more loving as your energy lightens up. Until the next video, have a wonderful day.